Welcome to Tech Savvy. My name is Leigh Newman. I'm the Associate Provost at the LaGrange campus of West Georgia Technical College. And we're so excited that you're here today to find out what's going on at West Georgia Tech. Our guest today is Lori Basham, and she is the enrollment coordinator, center coordinator, and she knows everything you need to know about getting enrolled in West Georgia Tech. Lori, thank you so much for coming today, and I want to say publicly how much I appreciate your help and all that you've done for me my first 6 months at West Georgia Tech. I've learned so much from you and your experience and your knowledge, and I consider you one of the best, so thank you.
Oh, thanks for those kind words. Yes, I am the Enrollment Center Coordinator at West Georgia Tech, which in a nutshell means that I help people get enrolled in school. I've been there 15 and a half years, so a lot of things have changed for the better since we've been at West Georgia Tech. When I started, people would say, oh, you work for Troop Tech, and I'm not from Troop County, so I didn't quite know what that was, but West Georgia Technical College has grown tremendously, and my responsibilities are I oversee the Enrollment Center, which essentially is the admission office. We have staff members there who assist students in getting into school. We have a cashier office so that we will take your payments. We have the registrar's office is located in the Student Affairs Center. We also have the switchboard. We have also financial aid. So we have everything that you need in order to get started for school.
So basically, when a student or a potential student comes to West Georgia Tech, they come to look for you and your group, right?
When they come in to West Georgia Technical College, there's a huge atrium, and we always say look for the big desk. The big desk there, and then there's the Enrollment Center. We have admission counselors who rotate through there so they can help you go through the process. We also have wonderful admission specialists who have been there for a long time that can help you also through the process of applying to school and getting everything that you need to do.
When you say advisors, I think about the student that would come in, or the potential student that would come in and say, well, I'm not sure what it is I want to do. What would you do with that student?
What I would do with that student is, what are your interests? A lot of times people say, I want to be a nurse. And then you talk to them about, well, do you like to be around blood? No, I don't want to be around blood. Well, that may not be a program for you, but we may have something if you want to work in the medical field, maybe go into one of our business administrative technology programs and do the billing end of that, of the medical field. Also, our instructors are very open to speaking with you. So, for example, you come in and you want to do something in industrial, not real sure what you want to do in industrial. I'll give Mr. Jim Biaggi a shout out that he is very good at, if you want to come in, let us come to our program. Let me show you the different things that we do. Now, when you come in, they may be in class, so it may be that you have to make an appointment with them. And we also have some information that we can give you that allows you to do some interest inventories online, also do some more research about this is what I'm interested in, this is what the projected employment opportunities are in this area, and also what the salary may be. Speaking
of projected salary and what's important and what's the high demand, tell me some of the programs that we offer that are put together to meet those demands, those high needed.
One of the programs that we have is the short-term program, which is the CDL, Commercial Truck Driving Program. That's an 8-week course, and what I've been told is there's going to be a shortage of CDL drivers in the future. The great awesome news, I guess you should say, about CDL is that you can get the HOPE grant. Most Georgia residents are eligible for that, but also the state of Georgia has just issued a new strategic industry grant that allows you to get an additional $1,000.
Wow.
So where it used to cost you, perhaps even after HOPE, $1,400, now you're probably looking at around about $400 to do the CDL program. And they're day and evening classes, and it's 8 weeks basically, maybe a little longer at night.
It's night, right.
And so CDL is one of the programs. Also, anything in the health programs, but they are competitive selections. So I just want everyone to know that, if just because you want to be a nurse doesn't necessarily that you're going to be accepted into that RN program or that LPN program or medical assisting. So you want to make very good grades going into those classes.
You've got to take it very seriously.
Yes.
And that's so important. Lord, this is good information. I think that probably I've learned a lot in this last week because it was during registration and the first week of classes, and of course last week was late registration. It's been crazy over there. Can you think of anything that you'd like to say, or several things, issues that you want to make sure that our viewers know about in case they're interested in signing up?
Yes, apply early. That is, we see the biggest thing. I think what happens is children go back to school, then people go, oh, what am I going to do? Or maybe a high school graduate who thought they were going away to school, all their friends are leaving now, and they go, oh, I've got to do something, or their parents are saying, you're not just going to sit around. And so now they're coming to apply. On the admission end, we can probably get you in, but financial aid is going to take longer. What happens is people will go and fill out their federal financial aid form, and they automatically will get an email back and say, you're eligible for this much money. And they think it's just automatically, magically there. That's not how that happens, because the government chooses people for verification. Probably 60 to 70% get chosen for verification. In a nutshell, what that means is, in the olden days, you could bring in your tax form, Leigh, and say, these are my tax papers. Now the federal government says, no, you must have a tax transcript. So there's a lot more, it's not hoops to follow, but there are federal regulations that have to be followed. So, spring semester begins in January. So the key is applying early. And I don't want to scare you, but the deadline priority is Halloween. So October 31st. So that's that. And that gives you plenty of time. And people think, oh my gosh, that is so far. But it's not. This year's almost, 4 months away. We're at Christmas. So it's really important that you come in and go ahead and start the application process. Also, I find people will go ahead and do their application, and then they wait to do their financial aid until they've gotten everything done with admissions. Go ahead and do your financial aid. It's much better for your money to be waiting on you than you waiting on your money.
Clever. So go through the process. So our viewers that are thinking about going to technical college and want to come to the LaGrange campus at West Georgia Tech, they're thinking, you know, but there's so many barriers. But let's go through the process.
Okay. On the admission side, we're going to talk if you're a brand new student. You just graduated from high school, or maybe you graduated from high school 20 years ago, or you earned your GED 20 years ago or last year. What that person would do is they could come in and do an application. They could call us. We can mail them an application. They can apply online. Okay, that's an application. It's a $25 application fee one time.
Can you put it on a credit card?
Oh, we can take it in penny rolls. That's fine. We'll take it any way you have it. So application, $25 application fee. You will need to submit official high school transcripts or GED transcripts.
How do you get your high school?
High school transcript, if you graduated from a Troup County school, most likely it's at the Troup County Archives, which is in the Bank of America building.
Downtown.
If you downtown, across from the movie theater. If you just graduated from high school, you would want to contact your high school. Your GED transcript, if you do not have a copy of that, then we can give you a form that you would mail off. Or if you graduated like I did in a school not from Troup County, contact your high school or your local Board of Education. So that's your starting point with that. All programs require a high school diploma or GED except the CDL program. So you must have that before you can begin. If you have ACT or SAT scores, we'll look at those. Or you may say, oh my gosh, I'm 40 years old, I don't have SAT scores. Then you would take the Compass test. The Compass test is not to say, oh my gosh, you can't come. The Compass test is a placement test, so that it's a reading and a writing and a math. So it says that you're ready for your English class, or maybe you need a little bit of a refresher. That's what it's used for. It's not used to say you can't come to school. And we give those tests Monday through Thursdays between the hours of 8 and 4.
How long does that take?
It's not a time test, so it's on a computer, typically about an hour and a half. So make sure when you come that you are relaxed. You're not having to pick up your children at 3 o'clock and you started the test at 2:30. Because that's what it is. Now, if you're a transfer student, you've been somewhere else, then you're going to need to provide those transcripts from other colleges. May or may not have to take the placement test. We would not know until we received your transcripts.
Why do you need to know where I've been and what I've done in other colleges?
Because it is a federal requirement for financial aid that you disclose all colleges previously attended, and when you sign the form, you put on there the colleges that you've come to. So hopefully you have some transfer classes.
Well, that was my point. You can check to see who determines whether they're transferred.
The registrar's office would determine that. If you have an English class and it's a C or higher, there's not, we call it a shelf life. It doesn't disappear. You know, if you took the classes as I did maybe in the 80s, that English class you're not going to have to repeat as long as it is a C or higher.
Right.
And so that would shorten the length of time that you have.
Well, I think, you know, y'all do a remarkable job. And the number of people that y'all processed over the past, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks is amazing. And everybody was so nice to everybody.
We try to be very nice because I always want to think of it as, you know, it's someone's mama, it's someone's daughter, it's someone's son, and you'd want to be treated the way, you know, you would hope that everybody's treated the way that they want to be treated.
Well, you've got a son that just started college.
I do have a son that just started college, and I guess that could be a lead into if you have a son or daughter that maybe they went away to college and had a little too much fun. It's a great opportunity for them to come back and maybe pull up their grade point average, maybe find something else they're interested in. This summer, my son, who just graduated from LaGrange High School, took a class at West Georgia Tech, and in his class, he was like, oh my God, basically, oh my gosh, Mom, there's like everybody in there I know. And there were kids from Georgia, there were kids from Georgia Tech, West Georgia, Georgia Southern, all of these schools that come in the summer and take transient classes. And a transient student means you're a student somewhere else, but you can take your class this summer and then transfer that class back. Gives you the opportunity to have a small classroom. Also, we are a reasonably priced college compared to everything else.
To local area colleges.
Local colleges, out
well,
of state, in-state.
One thing that I want to make sure that you tell everybody is don't let them think that it's going to be easier to come.
No.
Because we have the standards are the same at our college as they are at the university or at Columbus, anything like that. So we have to meet the same standards. So it's not, don't plan on coming just because you think it's going to be easier.
Definitely. I think that has been maybe the misconception, but they have, you know, they know now that they are getting a valued education, and that's why there are so many courses that will transfer to University of Georgia and all, you know, I don't want to say University of Georgia because I'm an Auburn fan, but they will transfer to Auburn as well because we have
Bless
Auburn
your heart.
students there. So from West Georgia Tech, so they will transfer. So we have to meet those same credentialing as everyone else.
So don't expect an easy ride.
It's not an easy A.
But you'll learn a lot and be proud of what you learned in that, and you can carry it with you wherever you go. So.
Correct.
Well, it's time to take a little break. Lori, this is so much fun having you here, and you are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure that our viewers are really learning a lot and can't wait to come sign up.
Okay.
But let's take a break, and please come back and find out more about what's going on at West Georgia Tech. And just in case you need to know, our website is www.westgatech.edu, and our phone number, so you can call us if you have any questions, is 706-845-4323. And we'll see you back in a few minutes. Thank you. Welcome back to Tech Savvy, and we're so thrilled to have Lori Basham here today. She's the Enrollment Center Coordinator at West Georgia Tech on the LaGrange campus. And she's telling us a whole lot of stuff. She's been in the system for over 16 years, and so she's got some stories to tell. She's got such valuable experience that, you know, we're very fortunate to have her on our campus. And the students and the potential students are very fortunate to have someone with her experience and background to help them get started at West Georgia Tech. Okay, Lori, I want you to tell the viewers and me some things that they really need to know about the new exciting news in technical education, and especially at LaGrange campus of West Georgia Tech.
A couple of things that like you said, I have been around a while. It doesn't seem that long, but
You certainly don't look it.
oh yeah, that's right. everybody hears about the Hope Scholarship, and that's what people hear: Hope Scholarship, Hope Scholarship, Hope Scholarship. And I continue to be amazed at how many people do not realize that there's the Hope Grant. The Hope Grant is eligible for students who, for example, you're sitting at home and maybe your child wanted to go away to school, and sometimes they want to go away to school, and you just didn't have the FAFSA filled out, your Pell Grant, or you just didn't have the money for them to go, and they didn't graduate with quite what they needed. They can receive the Hope Grant at West Georgia Technical College, regardless of what their high school GPA was. And that is pretty awesome, because we have a program called Technical Specialists that will allow them to take 24 credit hours, which is essentially 8 classes that are core level classes that will transfer anywhere. And after they receive 30 core classes, then they can be evaluated for Hope Scholarship, so that when they do maybe finish up with us and they want to transfer on, they can become a Hope Scholar. Had a young lady sitting in my office yesterday, and she was kind of like, oh, I wanted to go away. And as she's sitting there, it was pretty amazing that all these kids were walking by, and they were like, she was like, I didn't know she was going to school there. I know him, I know him. And it has changed tremendously. There's just a lot of people. But don't think if you're sitting home, you think, well, I don't want to be sitting there with all 18-year-olds. No, it's kind of like the grocery store. We're a little bit of everything. So you're going to see people who are young as Leigh and myself, or you're going to see people who are working,
non-traditional students.
Non-traditional. So we're a little bit of everything. So the Hope Grant is available to most people. So you could come to West Georgia Tech. The other awesome thing is maybe you're sitting at home and said, I had the Hope Grant, but they raised that grade point average to a 3.0. The state of Georgia has now lowered it to a 2.0. So maybe you were a student at West Georgia Tech and your GPA dropped below a 3.0. You can come back and see if you're eligible again for that Hope Grant. So that's pretty exciting.
That is very
news.
exciting, yes.
Another thing that is exciting is the dual enrollment program at West Georgia Tech. And what that means is, and I always kind of tell this story, back in the day when I was in high school, I did go to what would be called probably a career academy now, and I took a nurse's aid program my junior and senior year because I was going to be a nurse, had a nursing scholarship. I'm not a nurse. But how that helped me today is when I was at Auburn.
Oh, bless your heart.
When I was at Auburn, I was able to use that certification that I received to work flexible hours, that type of thing. We have 2 dual enrollment classes for high school students that are full nurses aid. So, and it's from all high schools, Callaway, Troop, and LaGrange High School. So if you're interested, you have to be a junior in high school. You need to see your counselor now if you're a 10th grader or an 11th grader, because you're going to need to take the Compass Placement Test. And we give those tests at the high school. So when you're sitting in class and you're listening to those announcements, or parents, if you go online, that's probably the best way to get the information, because that's how I get it. You see Compass Placement Test. Have your child sign up for that. It's free testing so that they can prepare to do dual enrollment. You don't necessarily have to just do nurse's aid. We have welding programs. We're looking at some additional programs. You may have a student who wants to do, it's called Excel. They can come and take their college level English class. They can take their math class, those kind of things while they're in school. We have students that are in something called Move On When Ready, when they take every single one of their classes at the high school, but they can still participate in the activities of sports and the homecomings and those type of things.
So what you're telling me is we could, if the student takes classes in high school, they'll get credit for college credit for that?
They'll get college credit as long as they pass, yes.
Of course they got to pass, but then, you know, there's also that, what is it, accelerated, that they can take in class in high school. What is it, AP classes?
They can take AP classes as well. Some students take the AP class and then they go and take the AP exam, and you must score for most colleges a 3 or higher to get in. And certainly AP classes are great, but there's also the option that maybe you have a student that does not test well, and they could come and take their English 1101 class with us if they qualify, and they would earn college credit as well as high school credit while
So they wouldn't
same
have to
time.
like take the test at the end. I mean, of course, they'd have to take the final for the program, but then it's not all weighted on pass or fail on the placement test at the end, or the
Correct.
the AP test.
Correct.
I think that's fascinating. That is wonderful. And then there are those students that are not quite sure if they're going to go to college, or if they think they might want to go to work for a little while afterwards, which I know a lot of students probably should, so they can have time to grow up a little bit more before they go out on their own. So they could take the CNA or the welding or whatever else we're offering, and then when they graduate, they'll get a job, especially in that, well, both in those programs.
They'll get a job, or and I go back to the nursing program. We have, if you're, now for the RN program, you must have a nurse aide certification. So you would already be one step ahead. When you apply for the RN program, you must have a nurse aide certification. And so you would already have that credential.
So you could graduate from high
that.
school and jump right into the RN program.
Into the competitive selection process, right.
That's a great opportunity. And then think about the money that you save, because it's so much.
Sure.
We're the best kept secret and probably the best deal in town. So
Well, and going back with the HOPE grant, say you have a child that takes 12 semester hours, which is full time, which is 4 classes. If they qualify for the HOPE grant, which they would as long as their parents are Georgia residents and they have no felony drug convictions in the last 6 months, we hope, that your tuition and fee bill would be $565 for 4 classes. Of course, you would have books. Your books would probably be almost as much as
Right.
your tuition. So you can think about the amount of money that you would be able to save.
and everybody, you'd be at home, so you don't have to have places.
Mama might like that, and some they give them a year to kind of grow up, kind of that gap year.
And it is a big change from going from the high school environment to a college environment.
Correct.
And this gives them a little
Gap year, I suppose.
I think that is awesome. That is awesome. So tell us some more exciting things that's going on that you think our viewers need to know about.
If you are underemployed or you're unemployed, we have representatives that go to the Department of Labor on Wednesday mornings at 9 o'clock for the Job Seekers Club. So you could go and speak with an admission counselor at that point. Also, we have a AS degree in general business, which is an articulation agreement with Columbus State. So you would come to West Georgia Tech for your first 2 years, and you would take the classes that are outlined, which are general core, your English, your math,
Humanities,
some business classes,
science.
some business classes, and then after those 2 years, as long as you made a C or higher, you could transfer to Columbus State's general business as a junior.
And so you could get a bachelor's degree.
Starting with us, yes.
Yes, that's a wonderful opportunity for students, and I don't think enough people know about that either. Well, Lori, we're running out of time. It's so much fun to sit here and talk to you about all the fun things that we're doing.
Lots of fun things.
Lots of fun things. And the good news is, and the part that I'm so proud of being a part of West Georgia Tech, is we make such a difference in so many people's lives. And it's just a shame that not more people take advantage of it. So that's the purpose of this program, is to make sure that everybody understands that we're out there, we're ready to help, and we address the barriers that people think keep them from going to college. So we're very fortunate to have it, and we would love for you to come out there. And closing up, I'm gonna thanks again for being here, and thank you for all you do at the college and for the students and to help me. And if you have any questions or need us for anything, you just please contact us on the web. It's www.westgatech.edu, and our phone number is 706-845-4323. And thank you for joining us.